Oh man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is? Tuesday. Brewsday, Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah. Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
Bam! Brewsday Tuesday, indeed. It is upon us once again. A little belated, but that's okay. I'll allow it for tech basketball. That's fine.
Wednesday's an okay day.
Yeah,
Middle of the week.
Yeah, it's a nice way to break up the week. Have a couple
I took
beers.
Monday off, so still technically like Tuesday.
It's like a Tuesday for you. Yeah, that works out pretty good. It is Brewsday Tuesday again, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store downtown Blacksburg. They just renewed us, man. I'd say, dare I say,
what are we doing, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a great partnership, man. I was just there over the weekend getting some more brews for some future shows, which we'll drink those when the time comes. But in the meantime, I did make my travels to Richmond a couple weekends ago, as I alluded to, and we've teased, and I did, of course, hit my go-to spot, the Veil, which is I've been saying for quite some time, probably my favorite brewery, still way up there. Again, there is somebody coming for that crown, and I'll get to that later on. But first things first, I just popped from them I really don't want to be you. And if you look at, I know you love a good can. It's I'm sure there's a reference here that it's going over my head. There's like just sort of like straight-laced looking guy, and then like a really hardcore punk kind of looking guy. And it's also drawn to almost look like it's that 3D thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like the red and the blue and the slightly off of whatever. Either way, this is from the Veil. This is a double dry hopped India Pale Ale, 6.9%. And per usual, the Veil says you should keep cold, drink today. Oh, how convenient that is when I open it. And their motto, recycle or die, which I think is pretty sweet. Pretty cool
important.
motto. I like it.
I wish okay. So I mean we'll go on a tangent here. Recycling should just be much easier.
Especially around here. I wish it was a little easier. We do recycle, but man, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
It builds up to like one big trip, and then the whole back of the vehicle's filled. The wife's like, "Do you want to take the kids with you?" Sure, but I don't know where they're gonna go. And that's got to be fixed.
They're just back there swimming with all the cans and bottles.
The cans and the styrofoam and the styrofoam not so much, but the plastics will protect them, right? Yeah,
and the boxes.
We can't fit the car seats.
Your kids, they take after the cats. They like to hide in the boxes and climb in them, don't they?
Yeah. That's just that's my soapbox for the day, and this is one of my beers for the day. The Unaware, which, by the way, speaking of being a sucker for a label, this one feels like, to me, when I see it, reminds me of like the Arizona green tea, which is weird, but it's a much more like creepy version. It's the color, but so the Arizona green tea has those, I think it's hibiscus flowers all over it, whereas this has just creepy ass shadows all over it. So it's like a twisted Arizona iced tea, and it's not going to taste anything like that. It's the double India Pale Ale. So get that out of my brain. 8% ABV, and of course from the Veil. And it's good when it's got a small label and most of it's a silver can.
Yeah. So we were in Richmond, and as one does when you go to Richmond, there's no shortage of fantastic breweries, but the one that's always been my my top dog is the Veil. However, on the day that we were going, it was raining. And for those that are familiar with the Veil at Scott's Edition, there is, the bars inside and stuff. You pop inside to order and everything, but there's not a lot of indoor seating. It's basically, you're outside. I think they do have one spot that has a cover thing on it, but I feel like that's more just for to block the sun. Like I feel like water could still, it's one of those things. I don't know if that actually stops the rain or if the rain just catches on that. And I don't know. Either way, it was raining. So wouldn't you know it, when I was looking at, different what breweries I might want to go to, whatever. And sure enough, I didn't realize this, but the Veil has multiple locations. I was unaware. They have a Forest Hill spot, which had 2 stories and lots of indoor seating. So I was like, well, let's go check this spot out. So that's actually where we ended up going, was the Forest Hill location. So that was the first for me. I'm looking on their site right now. They also have, I guess, a spot in Norfolk, which I didn't realize. And then they also say Funkhorst Cafe. I'm not too sure what or where that is. Maybe they just have
How's it spelled?
spelled funny.
Funkhust.
Yeah, with like the 2 little dots over the.
I have no idea, but based on the name, I hope to God they've got pinball machines because that sounds like an arcade.
I'm looking at that right now. It's in Richmond. I see some pictures. I see pictures of barrels. I don't see any arcades. Sorry to disappoint.
Letting me down.
But I'm wondering. All right, so this again, this is not where I went, but might need to check it out. It says it's a relaxed, casual tap room in our funky and wild barrel aging facility. Okay, our special eclectic European-inspired space. The cafe features 4 rotating drafts of easy drinking, non-funky and wild beers, i.e., wit beer, hefties, lagers, IPAs, etc., as well as some of our funky and wild beers produced at this facility. We also offer on-premise bottle service, including vintages, highlighting our mixed Fermies is what they call it. Lambic-inspired beers, as well as the barrel-aged stouts and barley wines. So
That's
this is going to be the
still an
more
appropriate name.
funky stuff. So I don't know. All right, I guess maybe I'll check that one out next time. But yeah, like always, the Veil is fantastic. The location that I did go to, again, it was 2 stories, pretty good spot. They actually had I forget the name of it now. What's that movie? E2
talking about
Mommy
Caesar?
Tambien or something.
I thought you were gonna say Et tu Brute, and I was like, that's
E2
Caesar.
I don't know, whatever. It's some Mexican place that has that kind of worked into the name somehow. So they do have like Mexican food right there in the facility, which
Nice.
we didn't partake, but
It's my
Good
favorite
food,
thing to
good.
have with beer.
yeah, Mexican a cerveza with your brew.
I love nothing beats like spicy and like a nice crisp like IPA.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I could definitely house like a bunch of chips and salsa while drinking beer. That would partner quite well.
Chelsea used to be the worst at that. We'd have a party and like all the beer would still be there, but the salsa would be gone.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm still a bit funny when it comes to to me, pizza and beer is the best combo. So anytime I eat pizza now, I feel like I need beer with it. I don't know why, but when it comes to like, if I had this Veil beer in my fridge and I'd never had it before, I would rather not eat it with food because I feel like food will affect the tasting and the palate and like, what the beer actually tastes like. If you have a big bite of, queso or whatever, and then you sip the beer, I feel like it's going to kind of affect it. Like if I'm eating food, I want it to be a beer that I already know, like a good go-to.
No, that's
rather than trying something new or something of like high caliber.
That's definitely fair. I wouldn't like just on a whim. All right, well, we're having the Veil's Dippa today. Let's
with dinner.
Let's break out that like, yeah, you definitely need to like at least at the very first try it and then decide what it would pair with. Because I mean, wine drinkers do that all the time. They're like, they'll show up at a winery they've never been to before and they've brought all their cheeses and their spreads. And it's like, you don't necessarily know you brought the right ammo for this.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about the fact that, because there is, wine and cheese, like you said, wine and cheese pairings, and there's food that can certainly, they complement each other and it could go really well. I'm just always worried that it might do the opposite, I guess, because if it's something that's a wild card,
exactly,
that's what I'm saying.
No, and I can see that. I would never intentionally do that. I do try and like, if for instance, if I'm having Mexican food, it's usually going to be like a Modelo and some lime or make a michelada. But it's just so damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. I do like a beer, and anytime I go to a restaurant and stuff, if there's a beer on there I haven't had, I'll still get it and then just have it with dinner. But there's something about it that, especially if it's a beer like the Veil or something that I really want to try, I usually won't want to bust that one out to have with the dinner, because I'll be like, well, yeah, I don't know if I want to. I probably want to just taste that beer rather than, have the food have any influence on it.
I do remember a moment once when my mom asked, and my dad still laughs about it. This is probably about 14, 15 years later. My mom out loud said, which wine would be good with this pizza? Now, we had ordered like Papa John's. I don't know. Probably the Boone's Farm.
Boone's, oh, come on. Give Papa John's a little bit more credit than that.
Wild Irish Rose.
I would go with just a nice
Mogan David.
Any type of a red. Just say a red with Italian. Easy peasy.
It still makes me chuckle.
So
like, the fact that she was so concerned about like pairing the perfect wine with this Papa John's is what cracks me up. Like, just open a bottle, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it would be fine. And you know what else is fine is some good Veil beers. I'm gonna go ahead and untap the I really don't want to be you. It's BU at the end. Again, I know that there's a reference there that I'm completely missing, which kind of kills me. But it's not bad at all. I will say, and I've noticed this. Was yours double dry hopped as well? Or is it just a double?
Doesn't say, it just says it's double.
Double. Okay. So this is double dry hopped. I think the next round, both of the beers are double dry hopped. So I think that's a pretty common thing that they do there at the Veil. Per usual, you're getting that nice hazy color. I mean, most beers that you get at the Veil, expect it to look like orange juice because it'll pour. You won't be able to see through it. It'll just be a glorious, lovely orange color. I mean, the lacing on there is perfect. I am curious, and I guess maybe I'll save it for the next round, and I'll tell this story. I'm wondering if it's my taste buds are changing, my standards are going up, but the Veil beers have not been impressing me as much as they have been. Full disclosure, case in point, the beer you're drinking, you're talking about the Shadows. We thought they looked like they're running. And BB picked that one out for me over the weekend after we ran 16 miles on the New River Trail. So I was like, oh, this would be a nice little.
Before you say this, having drank this, I'm not sure how you would feel about it.
Yeah. Well, I can say what I gave that beer, what score wise after you do it. But this one, I feel like it's this one's more on caliber, I would say, to what you're expecting with the Veil. It's still not a knock me over the head amazing. I'm hoping the ones in the fridge are, but it is still a glorious beer. This thing is delicious. It's just got everything you want, man. That delicious kind of, I want to say citrusy, but it's just that. What is that aroma that comes with? I guess maybe it's the double dry hop. I guess I don't know. That's probably what comes with it, man. Now some of the hops I'm not sure about, but this one all seems well. Does it say which hops are on here? Actually, you know what? I was there and I took a picture of the beer menu that has the full rundowns. In fact, I could probably give even better description of these beers that aren't on the cans. So mine is the I really don't want to be you, double dry hopped version of the I don't want to be you. So it's the really
it's a sequel beer.
It's our 0 IBU Citra Mosaic IPA. Soft vibes of freshly cut grass, mango gummy bears, and piney papaya. So no,
I'm
0
excited.
IBU. Interesting.
I mean, does it?
It's good. This is very good. It's not a 5, but it's right up there. I'll give it a 4.75. This is a good beer. Now, I'm going to read your description. So which one did you have again?
The Unaware.
Unaware is brand new DIPA brewed with YCH Cryo Pop, a special blend of concentrated hop pellets, Citra, and Sabro. Amazing peach, pineapple, and daiquiri flavors. You getting any of that?
You know, I missed the daiquiri.
No daiquiri.
Maybe if I freeze it, we'll catch that. But it's delicious. I don't think you're gonna enjoy it as much as usual dippas. It's very crisp and like very forward. There's not a whole lot going on the back end.
Yeah.
That being said, I love it. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay. Yeah. I gave it a 4.5. I was disappointed at the first sip, but this is why I don't rate after a first sip, because it did grow on me as it went. But that I don't know if it's that cryo.
It's almost like it's almost like there was something like lost in its doubling process, we'll call it, because I'm clearly a brewer. It's not as potent as dippas usually are, and I wonder if the fact that the hops are cryogenically frozen and turned into pellets is a factor.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've had a beer that does that, but either way, we've been rambling a while. Let's take a break. We'll play a tune. We'll come back. We'll drink some more double dry hopped beers. I don't know if they got the cryo or not, but it is Brewsday Tuesday on a Wednesday right here with 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.